Welcome to the Roger Report Live on the entertainment side. This is Roger, and I've got a guest host with me. My main man, Jado, is here. We have seen the movie Aftermath, and this was supposedly a 2024 release. I don't think it actually made it to theaters. A lot of stuff has gone on with movies here and there due to the COVID situation, whatever the case is, and some stuff that was supposed to go to the theaters never made it to theater. But then this could have just been something that was made directly to go straight to streaming services. I can't say for sure, but I'm gonna say Aftermath was a decent film, pretty decent film. My impressions of it was pretty good actually. It was pretty good. What do you say, Jado? How was you feeling this one out?
This one, Roger, yeah, it was right down the middle for me, man. Like it was okay, mediocre, right down the middle, man. It was okay. Something if you really ain't got nothing to do, you look at the synopsis of the film and you say, hey, that sounds interesting. Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't be totally pissed if you watched it.
Not totally pissed
Not
off.
totally, maybe partially, but not totally. depending on how you look at it, man.
Hey y'all, it is what it is. We gonna tell you the plain truth and the raw, uncut stuff around here. But this was all about Jimmy, who was just pictured. And Jimmy, I liked his character because Jimmy was an evil's SOB. Okay, Jimmy doesn't play no evil SOB, and we found out why he was that way because Jimmy was gonna crack his corn, y'all. Jimmy ain't got that much longer to go. But don't seem like Jimmy told nobody that he ain't got that much longer to go. So Jimmy ready to be a little more radical than the average person, if you're even being radical. So him becoming a terrorist group leader, because that's how it would be viewed. He would be viewed as a terrorist group leader instead of a good military man, which he technically was. So I did like the fact that there was some ways to view this to have some level of empathy for Jimmy and his team of bandits out there. There was something you can empathize with. Or what did you think as far as that is concerned? Was it something you can empathize with, or you just seen him as just a crazy Jimmy trying to do stuff he ain't got no business doing?
See, you know what, Roger? Like, I wish they would have went a little more into depth about the story behind it. Cause yeah, he was former, I guess, active duty military, and then he went to like a private contractor or whatever. And then, they were, I guess, exposed for like, unaliving some civilians, I guess overseas, probably in the Middle East somewhere. And, and I guess what was it, Dr. Doc Brown, the female, that she exposed them or whatever. So I wish they would have they went into it, but I wish they would have had a little more specifics to it. So it was kind of hard to empathize with them. I kind of wanted to, but at the same time, yeah, you can see him being evil, man. And plus he had that brain tumor. So, he wasn't caring about too much of anything, man.
So Jedi ain't got no love for this military man.
I was trying to, man. I was trying to.
Well, I'm gonna say this, y'all. I thought the action in the film was pretty good. I think Jimmy, as a quote unquote terrorist leader, was definitely making his point known. And we had a civilian, technically, named Eric, who just happened to be riding along while he was letting his little sister Madeline drive, who I guess ain't got no business really driving yet. And they was going to the movies. So it was an interesting way this kind of started off. It was just him taking his little sister to the movies so they can spend a little time together. And all of a sudden, the bridge is now under siege. And Eric takes it upon himself, well, he gonna get his sister out of there. But can't really get his sister out of there without saving everybody at the end of the day, because these guys wasn't playing around and they had a well put together plan. Jimmy and his team was a true military team, and they made it basically impossible to rescue. Now, I would say this: I don't think Jimmy had any plans for anybody to get rescued. The way it kind of went along, I don't think Jimmy wanted anybody to get away. Or Jimmy didn't think the government would bow to his wishes. I think it's one of those two. What do you say on that note?
My thing is, Raj, like this is the reason why I don't really kind of empathize with this dude, Jimmy, man. Like they're highly trained military men and women or whatever, and they did a sloppy job, man. Like as far as securing everybody and like they and getting everybody's cell phones when they first blew up, cut off the bridge, blew it off or whatever, and as far as going through the cars and securing it, they did a sloppy job or whatever. That's what I don't know. It was just, yeah, I thought it could have been done a little better. These supposed to be highly skilled individuals, but maybe they didn't plan. I was like, they had a pretty good plan overall, but they didn't pay it a big thing with the military, man. You got to pay attention to detail. Sometimes it's the small things, and the small things will come back and haunt you.
And you would think a guy they was referring to as what they call him, Captain Chaos.
Captain Chaos, exactly.
Yeah. He would think Captain Chaos would know how to get all this stuff in order in a chaotic fashion. You would think he would know how to do that, but
it was a sloppy job. I mean, they made some good plans, man, but they did pay attention to detail, brother. It's real sloppy, man.
Well, I guess when you taking 70 to 100 people hostage,
it can't get sloppy.
Yeah, maybe somebody can get away with something here or there. I would say the excuse they gave of why Madeline did not have her phone, I think that was it was a decent excuse. I could see somebody accepting that at a time like this because now I don't know why Madeline was trying so hard to keep her phone because I'm thinking Madeline trying to set us up to get killed at the end of the day. I don't know if I would have took that risk. I just don't know if I would have took that risk. I don't think it was necessarily worth it at the end of the day. And the fact that you never called the police and gave them any updates, what was that phone really for? What was that phone really for?
And my thing too was, I think it was Tango that was the one that went to their car, and he was supposed, secured the zip ties, hands. I mean, he was being a little goofy, man. He took his mask off. Took his mask off and revealed his face, and he was having a long conversation about the cell. I don't know. They weren't standing on business, as they say, man. They didn't pay attention to detail. As a former military, that irked me a little bit, bro.
Well, I will give some credit. The guy playing, okay, I had to look his name up, but I guess his name would be, it was either Kilo or Foxtrot was telling him, dude gonna be a liability, man. Tango a liability.
Yeah, exactly. The black dude in there, the black dude that was in the van, right?
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, I had to look it up to see what the name is. I don't remember. So I'm looking at two black guys as far as the credits is concerned. Well, actually, it looked like they could be Hispanic with the last names, but one of them was definitely saying he gonna be a liability, and I guess it really didn't make no difference to Jimmy because Jimmy wasn't trying to make it out after that night. I don't. That's just the take I get on Jimmy. I think he was. Well, you know what? No, I'm gonna say this. I think Jimmy was gonna try to get away himself. I don't know. If he was gonna let anybody go off that bridge at the end of the day. That's what I think. I don't think that was his actual plan. I don't think he thought he was going to be able to get his demands done and the bridge be saved. So I think he was just preparing for the worst. That's what I really believe,
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm kind of right in the middle with that, man. I'm not sure if he really, because he seemed like he really wanted to get things done, but people his crew kept coming up, dead, unalived or whatever, and it seemed like things. And I think he kind of he was like, man, whatever. I'll just blow this thing up if I have to. I think he was pushed to that point. I think. I'm not sure.
Well, I will say this. If you really make demands that the Pentagon has to respond to, I don't think you think those plans going to really go through without some bloodshed and something really happening. So I think it was just Jimmy was surprised that he actually got his demand so quickly. Because when you think about it, they didn't give him much time to work with anything. And I would say, unlike I would expect in everyday real life, they folded. The U.S. government folded rather quickly. You know.
Hey, Roger, that's another thing I didn't like about the entire plot, man. It seemed like things that they were just too unreal. I get it. Sometimes you have to suspend your disbelief. Like even like Doc Brown was doing all this. I know she was a former staff sergeant in the army, but she was such I guess a badass, so to speak, man. And it was just slightly unrealistic to me, man. It was just too much.
All right, so if Jada was calling shots, this would have been done much more professionally.
Hey man, I would have stood on business, and if things didn't go well, it might be a real big explosion, brother. I'm not.
So these guys don't even make your squad, huh?
No, brother. No, sir, man. Yeah, it was sloppy, man. All their tactics, yeah, they were slipping on the job, man.
Well, I will say this. I did like the fact that you had another military man who was taking them out. I do like the fact that Jimmy took that threat seriously. The fact that he's saying, taking one of us out, okay, anybody can get lucky. Taking out two, now that's somebody working with something. And then you had a former military old guy who pitched in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He pitched in a good amount as far as what he was able to do, especially without having a weapon. And they say once you're a run, you're always a run. So I would take that to be kind of realistic. Anybody who signs up to die for their country, I think if an extreme situation like that happens, that they would, get right back to business at the end of the day with whatever they got available to them. So I thought that made the story just a little bit more believable, because if Jimmy would have been, if he would have been able to take everybody out on his own, that would have just been a little much for me. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about people that's supposed to be elite and special forces. So Eric was the guy taking folks out, and I think it made sense to me that Eric needs some help to get this thing resolved. I'll say that to get it resolved. It makes sense that he needs some help, and a little luck was thrown in there too. I will say that a little luck was thrown in there too. So I thought overall, I'm gonna say it was a good watch. I think it was a good watch. It wasn't a super fantastic watch, but it was a good watch, if you ask me. What say you, brother?
Yeah, it was all right. Roger, when Eric and Madeline got on the motorcycle or whatever. What is it? Is it CGI? The graphics that a lot of movies use. I think it's called CGI or whatever.
Yeah, computer generated images.
Yeah, okay. And I don't know, man. I did like the look of it, man. I don't know. I don't know if you saw that. That was just me. And another thing that really I don't want to say pissed me off, man. I don't want to ruin this for everybody. Again, it's a cool little movie or whatever. Just like when they went over the bridge, they were hanging over the bridge, like just hanging. Him and his little sister. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, man. I just don't know. 15 or 16-year-olds with that type of grip strength. I'm being overly technical, man. And they're just hanging. They're just holding on, hanging for dear life, man. Yeah, I just thought that was a little too much.
Cheerleader, man. She was a cheerleader.
No, bro.
They no, sir. Through the movie. She was a cheerleader, man. She used to be out there like that.
No, sir. But it's possible. But yeah, that was just a couple little critiques I have of it, man.
Okay. Well, I think most folks would enjoy the watch. I guess if you military yourself, maybe you won't enjoy as much as the rest of us. Yeah. Because I thought folks had to consult with the military before they put it out. That's what they thought they had to do. But hey, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know.
Hey, Ross, I might be overly critical, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, again, like if you ain't doing nothing, you're like, oh, let me check it out, man. It's okay,
Well, it's definitely one you can see from home. So I don't think I would have been disappointed had I seen it in the theater. But as a person who watched a lot of action films, I'm going to say this is not going to go toward the top of the list. Now, I did say that I was going to try to remember all these other films that I've seen this year, because I had a list from my other channel, but we started in the middle of this year on this channel. So right now, I got three 3 listed. So I got From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, which is still the top movie, top action movie. I'm putting G2. I put G20 in there because we saw that. So I'm gonna put G20 over Aftermath, and I'm gonna bring Aftermath, bring it up the rear for right now. But I do think it's gonna stay toward the rear because there has been some pretty decent action movies that I've seen this year. So I don't expect it to jump up anywhere. And I expect, as I remember all these other ones, that they'll probably go in front of Aftermath as well. But Aftermath was a pretty decent watch, I will say, at least in my opinion. Jado, he thinking something else, but I thought overall, I like the fact that Jimmy was committed. I like the fact that Jimmy was really about his legacy, and he was gonna make it happen. Period. And I think, at least in my opinion, Jimmy saw no way to get this resolved without blowing them people up. That's what I believe was really on point. It's just the Pentagon folded very quickly.
They did, man.
Which was interesting. They folded very quickly. That was very interesting. And I understand our government got to make decisions. They had an estimate of 70 or 100 people on that bridge, but is that going to be enough to make the military start telling you stuff about classified information?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. 70 or 100 versus the country. 70 or 100 versus the country. We can deal without 100 folks.
It seems like the easy choice there, Raj.
That's what it seemed like, but I guess you're going to get super criticized no matter which one you do. So I guess either way you go was bad, But sometimes ain't no good choices in front of you. So,
Brother Roger, man, I had a couple fun facts about this film that I looked up right before we came on, man. What's the name? What's his name? Jimmy. You know who? He's the son of a famous black actor. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is his dad, man.
Oh, shout out to the Gooden family. Shout out to them.
I didn't know that. Yeah, and Eric, this is like, as I think we were like grown by then, me and you, our age group. But it was a famous look. I think it's Nickelodeon or Disney. I don't know which one. But you knew that one.
I didn't know who he was, but I kept looking at his face like, no, I saw this guy as a kid.
Yeah,
I knew he was a child actor or something. That's what I was thinking. He was a child actor, right?
That's why, Zach and The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I know because my daughter used to watch.
Okay, I didn't watch that. I was I don't know if that was a little bit beyond my after my childhood, but I have seen it. I've seen it. I ain't really watched it, but I've seen it, and I was like, man, I don't know who this guy is, but I think this is a child actor. So
that makes
right. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Wasn't no sweet life in this situation.
No, not at all.
It was a rough life, and I ain't gonna say he was the greatest hero. When you think about the whole view of what they showed about him in this movie, he wasn't the greatest here. He came through on American soil, but he didn't do so well in other places. He didn't do so well in other places. So I can understand his motivation, but I would tell you what, though, if that was me and my sister, man, I'm gonna give my sister the safety. I might have to come back for the mother folks, but it was interesting to see him care about that many strangers that much. But you know what? I ain't gonna say it ain't people in those positions that when you in that stuff, you get a heart that other folks don't necessarily have. So,
But if you remember though, Roger, he had that heart. His sister urged him to have that heart for everybody else.
Yeah.
Because remember, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna get you up out of here." Because he was trying to make up for what happened overseas when he was in the military.
Yeah. Girl, you ain't got out of high school yet. You
did.
You gonna tell me about life choices?
Hey, that was another critique I had of it, Roger. But I'm gonna leave it at that, brother. I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, y'all. I guess we gonna wrap it up. So I thought it was an interesting movie. I think you would like it if you watch it. It's just not going to be one of the best action films this year. I will say that. There's going to be many more action films that's going to be better than this one. But I'm going to still say it was a decent film. You're not going to be mad if you watch it, okay? Or it might not be super pissed the way Jado was put. But I guess that's it for me. Are you good, Jado?
I'm all good, man. Thanks for watching. Everybody who's listening, and everybody who's going to listen and who's going to watch. Appreciate it.
And we'll see y'all next time around. Now, if y'all like this type of content, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel because we'll be dropping stuff like this daily. So be on the lookout. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.